Yay! Hello everybody! I want to share the art journal that I've been working on since January. I want to flip through the pages and share what I've done with you so that you can help me choose what tutorial video you'd like me to make. So even if you're just scrolling and watching, or actually wanting to get your hands dirty and dive in to do some art journaling, I'd like you to watch the pages as they go by. I'll talk about them briefly. So let me know in the comments which one of these pages you may want me to expand on further and show you how I did them. You know, I'm always looking to inspire you guys. This is your time. So like I said, even if you're just watching, you're a spectator and don't do art journaling, but you would still like to know how the heck did she do that, let me know in the comments. And for those of you who also want to figure out how to do it because you want to try, let's go, guys. Let's take a look through. All right, so the entire cover is a story in itself, with some crazy glitter that actually gold flakes that I don't know that I will ever use again because they were so messy, and how I had to put on clear gloss to keep them from going everywhere. There's a lot of dimensional items on the cover. And you'll notice too as I go through the pages that I've added a lot of dangly bits. All right, there's a lot of collage that goes on in the books, which is probably very self-explanatory. But if you want help with layout and design, we can discuss that. Sometimes you can have real busy pages, right, as compared to this, which has a little bit of a more open feel, to this, which is just jam-packed. But remember, it's an art journal, so it's a space to also put your ideas down or thoughts that you have going on in your mind. But the difference with art journaling, if you surround yourself with different elements, is sometimes the images that you see when you're going through, say, a magazine, or you're going through your stash, it's pulling information from you rather than when you're trying to just stare at a blank page and come up with your own thoughts. So sometimes pages are busy and sometimes they're not. And in the way that I'm trying to inspire you, a lot of times these pages are inspired because of what I've seen either on Pinterest or another YouTuber. Don't be afraid to emulate or kind of practice what somebody else has done to help define or find your own style. I love this page with all its background depth of color. You know, dictionary pages in the background. There's rubber stamping going on. I took time to, my journaling actually was typed into the computer and then printed out, and I took the time to actually cut out the words and outline them. And a lot of times these little dangly bits, I try to just color coordinate. Look, we skipped a page here. See, this page here was inspired by Megjournals on YouTube, where you're splashing color in the background first and then doodling on top of it with a black marker, and then doing the black background and white marker on top. This one took some time. Sometimes you just need to let your brain doodle. Some cloth on the edge here. And an old medallion. I love to do color matching, and for instance, right, this page here is part of a fashion magazine, but I took paint and color matched and extended where the magazine ended here. I expanded it out and played with colors and splashes of paint. Be here now, breathe. Who wouldn't want to be just sitting here overlooking the sea? Sorry, taking a deep breath. Pages can also be very simple. This doesn't have a stitch of paint on it. Just some torn paper, fashion magazine model, simplicity of life quote, and just some circle cutouts hanging from the top. It's a beautiful mess. This one I was inspired by these paper doll cutouts in a magazine and spread them out. Was using up some old junk mail envelopes, more dictionary paper. But to me, it was the connection. Like we are all connected in some way or another. Sometimes we take circular routes and sometimes we're very direct. Okay, this page, I was having a day. It was emotional, stress-filled day, and I needed to focus and to clear the mind. It was a double-tipped pen, and I just did the alphabet over and over. It's what I needed, and it just helped. So following on that stressful day, it's a lot of emotions around my husband's health, right? As a caregiver, I have days. Any caregiver would. But there was a lot of fire and passion and emotion that I needed to get out. And I had a photo reference that I was looking at. I will show it to you later on further in the book. But for now, this is to be appreciated just for the fire and passion of it all. These are oil pastels, just kind of rubbed on and rubbed off in some instances, and just some journaling around it, dictionary pages around his cancer. But I do love this knitted piece here, the browns to go with that page, and an old earring. I love this page and its color with its pearlescent paint in the background. More mail, right? It's an envelope with an image hidden. You could have left it open for a tuck spot, but it is sealed with my butterflies, simple quotes, a little chaotic on this side, a little bit more structured on this side. A lot of times I let what's in my stash inspire me, things that I've had forever that I just want to use. These are some old laminated die cuts from years and years ago when I worked in the school district. And this is an old card cover. I don't know about you guys, but I love a good detective series. I really enjoy Murdoch Mysteries. Going through it is my second time watching the show. Anyhow, I really love when they pull all the evidence and photos together and try and tie information together. And I thought I would just try it. I found an article about Thomas Edison, and I ran from there and pulled together other information, kind of like a real neat way if you're in school to try and remember facts and figures and to hold your interest on a topic. You might want to try doing a page like this rather than just strictly taking notes in a notebook. I find it to be really cool. And for this page here, I grabbed some gears and an old-fashioned looking key, the torn fabric there. I don't know, it just helps me find that page real easy. I don't know if it's because of my Italian heritage, but I really love the look of stucco or textured wallpaper. These two images are actually wallpaper samples, and I've had them for years too, and rather than them sitting in the stash, I finally decided to put them in here and to create that dimensional look and feel on the wall, mimicking what I've seen the swirls here on the wallpaper. Texture paste, my friends, texture paste. Totally different vibe on this page, right? I can explain how to use like tissue paper and combining it with acrylic paints, fashion magazine images, die cuts, and how to color, right? My die cuts here are white when I cut them out, and then how to achieve this kind of speckled watercolor look. Using kind of that red flower earring to go with the flower on the edge. This page too, also again inspired by what I had in my stash. Things I have been collecting and they're just sitting in a file. They needed to come out. So since this theme was all Native American, I used dimensional paint and layers of dimensional paint to create this feather. Picking up elements from the bumper sticker to create on the paper. And since it has the whole feather theme, there's a little feather earring. I love fashion magazines for the photography, the layout, the design, well, of course, for the fashion too. But you can really use that with your art journaling. Let me describe these next two pages. So Laperla, right? This fabulous embroidered lace looking outfit that she is wearing. I picked that up on the page, did some color matching on the background. The leather strips I picked up in the layout by just taking white paper and color matching the brown, using dimensional paint to outline, picking up lace here in the corner as a tab. But on the outfit that she's wearing, I have die cut dies that can create also this floral look. So I mimicked the design here on the outfit, on the edge of the page here, right? Picked up on her sleeve this design and put it on the edge, including the dots here. Right? So, okay, this is all well and good, but now when you turn the page, how do you incorporate what I just learned into something new? So I had leftover strips, did the crisscross. There's the dots, right? Learning how to use dots along with these strips. And in the space, putting in that same floral white with the dark background. Carried it over here. Used brown fabric on the edge. Just grabbed some old necklace that had broken. And I don't know, the browns are really called to like a wheat field. And I was picturing a wheat field. So I found a photo reference and used watercolors right in the center here to create this layout. Learn from the environment around you. Magazines, billboards, TV shows. Be inspired by your environment. I think this is actually Trader Joe's shopping bag. These two pieces here. But it really inspired me. Tissue paper backgrounds again. He's checking out that guy. Never stop innovating. Washi stickers and using up some letters they didn't have to match. Right? And using a gear here for the letter O. That's a fun page. Pretty simple. So I got to use this art journal a lot for some vision boarding and getting into that space around travel. I really look forward to days when I can travel. Don't be afraid to grab like a full page spread of an advertisement and then incorporate on top of it. Layer it with some paint. Some other photos, washi stickers, fabrics, right? First, there's you. It's the giant letter I underneath it. And then a whole bunch of travel-related ephemera in the corner. All about travel with me. Let's get lost. This is strictly just collage, grabbing images. If you want help with ideas about collage, about layout, we can spend a video talking about that. Colors, you can see color schemes, reds, being inspired by what I found in the stash that day. Magazine advertisements with painters out in the middle of a canyon that love that idea that I have of wanting to be on an adventure and documenting my life wherever I am. This is a fun collection of pages. Actually would turn long ways. So when you start art journaling, it really bulks up and really does a number on the binding. So it's really good to sometimes cut out a section of pages, which I did here. You can see there's a whole section of pages cut out. And on those pages where that happens, I like for the following pages to sometimes be layered before we get to the next full page. So that is a giant silk doily that I kind of put there to help cover some of that torn out section. But when you hold it like this and look down, we have this fun kind of seascape. You've got the ship and the surfer and the seagull, but you also have a little mermaid peeking, and it looks like a shark coming to get the surfer. But how fun now when you flip the pages, right? You can enjoy the underwater seascape. And here, I love this. Things are not always what they seem. I really love the lesson in that. Still some more underwater images. The sunken ship. It's not lost. It's a new canvas. Past pain grows new beauty. Right? Watching some documentaries about sunken ships and how the undersea life just grows around it. And since everything was blue there, the edge, I took a ribbon and just did the entire edge of that page. Ooh, what a shift in tone and colors. This page was inspired by two things. One, this was a 4x6 photograph that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, and I didn't want to just throw it out. I wanted to use it, so I splashed it with some alcohol inks, cut it out, and laid it on the page. But the page already had underneath here, these are the remnants of a die cut for a card that I made, and I whitewashed over it. And the way they fell out, it just looked like the breeze had kicked it up. So going with the tones, those colors, I had some orange yellow leaves to throw out there. I had stickers of birds and fairies and mushrooms. And then when I completed the page, I described it to Google's Gemini artificial intelligence. And I played with that, described the page to it and said, let's create a poem. And the poem it kind of came out with, it's pretty remarkable. I've really been enjoying playing with artificial intelligence in a artistic way. More vision board type layout. These here are leftover die cuts of feathers from a project that I had made. I made a wreath. And so again, this feeling of adventure and being out, taking off, made it just the idea of a bird, right? A wing here and the tail feathers. All again about travel. I can really get into these vintage articles. This article was written by Benjamin Franklin, and I really played off what he spoke about here. Highlighted one of the quotes, added some of my own thoughts, and I love synchronicity because after I had done this, there was an article online, quotes from John Cleese and the Monty Python reunion that just fit in exactly with what Benjamin Franklin was talking about. So I just clipped it in here. I love synchronicity. You can tell I really love this vintage stuff. But sometimes for me, to conceptualize that this past actually existed and wasn't just a movie or a dream. I love surrounding myself and reading these old articles and old ads. Again, I think art journaling can be such a great way to explore something you're trying to learn. All right, so this page, this is my photo reference for back here. Lord of the Rings. So I didn't want to lose the photo reference, but I didn't want it next to what I created because I didn't want the person observing the art that I created to be influenced by the photo reference. But I wanted the photo reference, so I did a lot of color matching again. And dark pages, the white markers I use are incredible. They work really well. So I enjoy doing dark pages just pulling the light yellow color. Just a lot of freedom in art journaling. Just throw some color on there and see what you can do with it. And sometimes art journaling is just line art and just words. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think you need me to help you teach how to do this page, but just to remind you that this is your safe space. And when you're in your art journaling time, this is for you. You are worthy of being able to have some time to love and express yourself in some way on the blank paper. And this really speaks to, as a caregiver, remembering to make time for yourself. But sometimes, for me, it's an odd dance. And if I were to conceptualize it, when you're dealing with the illness and all the what ifs, it could be like a giant black hole. And here you are, wanting to live your life, care for the self, but feel like in the background somewhere you're kind of always being sucked into that black hole. Like it's always there. And how do you adapt and live your life in these moments? It's a delicate dance. Colors. Colors. Playing with color and texture. So the background layers should kind of disappear. Like you don't even know that they're there unless I point it out to you. This black speckled and the honeycomb kind of blending into the background, and then the bold print on top. Totally a garden theme. This is Napkin and a combination of some illustration from a garden magazine and this really fun photo of this mouse in front of his house, and finding the quote, right? Background, a little bit of midground, foreground, and quotes. Little stickers. I know I shot some video while I made this page to really talk about using napkins to become part of your artwork. So this was a napkin. That's not my art. You can find that napkins in stores somewhere. But again, how to build up the page with layers. Remember, as we're going through my pages here, I'd really love for you to find a page that speaks to you that maybe you'd like to hear about or watch me create a similar page. Really go into the technique of how I made it. Let me know in the comments. So much combinations of fabric, paper, magazines, paint, playing cards. Hidden in here is a playing card. I think so many times we find images in magazines that we really love and you collect them, and what do you do with them? This is how I love sharing them for myself even, you know, to look back later and to enjoy the images that I find in magazines. And here's a fun little addition. So over here, this is actually part of a window envelope that I cut out the window, added the lines to it and washi tape, and then created these little cutout flowers. So create a little vase. And a good George Carlin quote, "Just when I found out the meaning of life, they changed it." Simplicity. Simplicity is always fun. This actually started because I needed to clean off a brush, so it kind of left that green paint splotch in the bag. And this was left over from coloring a stencil. Lift the stencil up. This is what was left behind. And just, I don't know, this image, perfect, fit in there. Napkin. And adding a little art commentary there about not looking at the dentist, looking at the artwork. None of it, by the way, is relaxing. It says, look at the relaxing artwork, and none of it is relaxing. Just speaking to art and how it affects our lives and how it can be your medicine. More vision boarding, more just scratching some paint on there. Napkins, the bench or the beach chair, and the ship, right? And the ship I actually originally put higher on the page and it just didn't look right. And I peeled it off, which left some tears. And those tears just add such dimension. Another magazine. This whole page here is magazine and adding napkins to the bottom. This is a great, I really love how this page came out. These circles were actually part of one design, and I took the time to cut them out, spread them out, and then cover over with the backing of a napkin, right? So where napkins are usually 2-ply, and you peel the second backing layer off and you're left with the napkin that has no artwork. So I kind of laid those circles down, and these black lines are thread. It's black thread. You wouldn't know it right away. You can see on the edge here the thread sticking up, and then covering it with the napkin. Actually, I did all of this. I did all of these little die cuts and the artwork. And I think what had bothered me was it was too bright. So laying that napkin over the top and doing some whitewash over it gave it such a texture and made the colors a little bit more muted. I just really love the way this page came out. This more of a vision board around art and thinking about me and my art, right? To stay iconic when I question myself about having my own style, right? I feel like even I am still trying to discover my own style and getting up in my head about that conversation and enjoying myself on this page here. The word video courses, right? I really want to be able to reach a broader amount of people when I share my passion and create this little community we have of people that enjoy this and want to learn more about it. So this is my vision boarding page about art in motion. Staying iconic. Again, this is a collage page with paint, texture paste, scraps that I had laying around. Underneath here, you don't see it right away, but these are all just scrap pieces of paper glued down, painted over. We had to cut out some pages again, which made for another layered effect. Right? So here you can see I cut out a bunch of pages to help make room so it would close. And it creates, well, I decided to make sure it created layers. All these different layers as I tore it out. So instead of tearing this way and creating layers, I tore across this way. And I love making it look like the galaxies and the night sky. This is a fun, easy technique I could teach you. And then under each flap, like there's the moon. And I decided to just go with this theme, like what you would find under one sky. Like we are all under one sky. So the forest goes into the city, and they got the farmlands. You've got like safari. Then you've got, right, the rotunda of the observatories, looking up at the sky with the hot air balloons. Right? One world, one sky, and just us living and loving under one sky. This is a fun page. These are from a paper crafting magazine that I subscribe to. I think it's Daphne's Diary is the name of it. But she has a lot of fun items in her magazines that you can actually pop out, like this greenhouse. It's supposed to be for like a 3-dimensional that you would keep on your desk, but it went right in my art journal, and I built upon this where it can tuck. This tucks behind the bushes. Created the bushes, have some die cuts of flowers. Right, and the squares that you popped out of to make the greenhouse are over here in the background. Very subtle. Flowers on top, the door, the seed packet. Just things to add dimension. I think that's it, guys, because, yep, look, I have my next magazine page here. Oh, that's right. That's right. It's so subtle, I forgot. Right in the background of this greenhouse, the paper is actually embossed, giving it another dimension. Guys, I don't know if I could put into words how wonderful art journaling makes me feel and how helpful it is in my life. So whether you need to just find a place to share your emotions, get them out, or maybe you need to work through a problem or celebrate some good energy, art journaling just works for me, and I hope I can inspire you. So thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what page I could help you learn how to create for yourself. Don't be afraid to jump in. And again, if you're just a spectator and just want to watch and learn, let me know. All right, guys. Laugh at life. Laugh a lot. Talk to you soon.